guys, here we are in this rainy Monday night. We are getting into lesson 21. This is a continuation of the previous lessons, and we are just continuing to divide. We're renaming still our remainders as remainders, so we're just continuing to get practice in dividing larger and larger numbers, and we are just using the standard algorithm. So let's look at this is in our problem set for lesson 21. Let's look at B. This is 148 divided by 67. It's really important. I should actually say imperative. That is a fancy word for important. To figure out how to set this up. This is 148 divided by 67. So here we're going to use estimation to guide us in trying to figure out how many 67s live in 148. I'm going to round 67 to 70, and then I'm just going to do some skip counting over here on the side by 70s. So we have 70, we have 140. I'm getting close. I'm actually just going to pause there because 148 is pretty close to 140. So I'm going to think there's about two 67s that live inside 148. So I am going to write my 2 above the 8 because we're looking at 148. We're looking at how many 67s live inside 148. And now we're just going to multiply through. First, we're going to multiply 2 times 7. 2 times 7 is 14. I'm going to write my 4 underneath the 8. Please make sure that everything is beautifully aligned. And then I'm going to carry my 1. Now we're going to do 2 times 6. 2 times 6 is 12, plus our 1 is 13. So now we have 134. Let's find the difference here. 8 minus 4 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. And then 1 minus 1 is 0. We have 14 left over. 14 is our remainder. Before we move forward, we need to make sure, is this number, 14, is that less than 67? Yes. If this was not less than 67, that would mean that we could squeeze one more into our quotient, or maybe a couple more. But since 14 is less than 67, life is good. We have a quotient of 2 with a remainder of 14. Just to make sure that this is exactly the correct answer, we're going to check using multiplication. I'm going to multiply 67 by 2. I'm just going to do that over here. 67 times 2. 2 times 7 is 14. Carry the 1. 2 times 6 is 12 plus 1 is 13. 67 times 2 is 134. Now we're going to take our product of 67 and 2, which is 134, and we're going to add our remainder. Remember, our remainder is 14. Sorry, that's a little sloppy. 134 plus 14 is 1, 4, 8. Is this number the same as this number? Yes. Yes, Claire, it's the same number. That was fun. Hey kiddos, let's look at one more problem here. We're still in lesson 21. I'm sure a lot of you are already predicting that we're going to be dividing. Let's read this problem. Lewis brings 79 pencils to school. After he gives each of his 15 classmates an equal number of pencils, I smell division, he will give any leftover pencils to his teacher. Oh, what a sweetheart. How many pencils will Lewis's teacher receive? Okay, so before we get to the gift giving, let's think about what he's doing with the pencils. Okay, so he has 79 pencils. Thank you, Ira. And then he is sharing those pencils equally with 15 classmates. So we have to figure out how many pencils is he giving to each of his classmates. So let's go ahead and figure out how many 15s live inside of 79. And typically we would round, but let's just count by 15s because I feel like that's fairly easy. Okay, so we have 15, 30, 45. We're just skip counting by 15s over here to try to figure out a reasonable quotient. 60, 75. Oh, okay, this looks promising. 75 is pretty close to 79 without going over. So let's think about how many 15s live in 70, could potentially live in 79. So 1, 15, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's try out 5 as a quotient, and if it doesn't work, we can always reevaluate and try again. So 5 times 5 is 25. We carry the 2. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 2 is 7. Oh, I think we're in a good place here. Let's find the difference between 79 and 75. Difference is 4. Okay, so that's good because 4 is less than 15. So we have a quotient of 5 with a remainder of 4. Okay, so let's go look back at our problem and think. Okay, so Lewis brings 79 pencils to school. It's a lot of pencils. Secret word, by the way, is gravy. After he gives each of his 15 classmates an equal number of pencils, he will give any leftover pencils to his teacher. How many pencils will Lewis's teacher receive? What a sweet kid this guy is. Okay, so he's giving each of his 15 classmates 5 pencils, but that's not what the problem is asking. The problem is asking, how many pencils will Lewis's teacher receive? Well, he is giving his teacher any leftover pencils. 4 is our remainder, so our answer for 4A is 4 pencils. Okay, let's look at B real quick. If Lewis decides instead to take an equal share of the pencils along with his classmates, will his teacher receive more pencils or fewer pencils? Show your thinking. Interesting. So what essentially is happening here is that instead of sharing, so up here he was just sharing his pencils, his 79 pencils, across 15 classmates. Now he's thinking, well, shoot, what am I going to write with? I need pencils. So he is going to include himself. Oops, I keep doing that. He's going to include himself in the sharing. He is going to now spread these 79 pencils across 16 kids because he's going to include himself in the sharing. So now we have to think, how many 16s go into 79? It's not as easy to count by 16s, so let's round 16 to 20 and let's count by 20s to think of a reasonable estimate for how many 16s live inside 79. So 20, 40, 60, 80. Let's try 1, 2, 3. Let's try 3 16s inside 79 and see what we get. Okay, so 3 times 6 is 18. We're going to carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. I think we might have to reevaluate here. 9 minus 8 is 1. 7 minus 4 is 3. Is 31 greater than 16? Yes. So that means that we need to increase this quotient. Let's try again. That is important work. It's not exactly correct yet, but that tells us that we can squeeze, and this is going to happen, you guys. This tells us that we can squeeze another 16 into 79. So let's increase our quotient by 1. We tried 3, now let's try 4. 6 times 4 is 24. We're going to carry the 2. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 2 is 6. The difference here is 15. Is 15 less than 16? Yes. So now we have 4 remainder 15. So that means now Lewis and his classmates are going to receive 4 pencils each. He has 15 pencils left. What does he do with these 15 pencils? He's going to give them to his teacher. The question is asking, will his teacher receive more pencils or fewer pencils? Well, here, in the previous problem, when he was just giving away all of his pencils to 15 classmates, his teacher received 4 pencils. But now he's including himself in the giving. We have a remainder of 15. So his teacher is actually getting, I have these buttons on my pen. His teacher is actually getting more pencils. So I would say, hey, Lewis, include yourself in the giving because this way I'm going to get more pencils. Happy teacher. Okay, guys, this is it for 21. Tomorrow we're going to continue working on this division. You guys are doing a terrific job with it, and let's just keep on trucking. See you in the morning.